The eyes are so dead as well. Like, what are you looking at? My work is still not very good. And why is it so sketchy? Why am I doing this? Hello my loves, welcome back to Zeke's Lunchbox. Today's gonna be an interesting one. I have no idea what I'm going to get out of this, but we're gonna see in a second. I've wanted to make a video where I kind of talk about my whole art creative journey. A lot of you guys are pretty new to my work, especially with just doing YouTube, so I've gotten a whole bunch of new people who have just witnessed my work recently, and you guys are seeing a lot of super good stuff now, but there's a whole history of that and how I got here. You can tell I'm really not too pumped to do this. Okay, I'm somebody who really doesn't like looking to the past. When I look back to the past, I wince, cringe, shudder. I know I shouldn't be too hard on myself when I look back at the past, but I just can't help it. That's just like the way I naturally react. Look, I've been doing Zeke's Lunchbox since I was maybe 16 or 17. For years I've been like, oh, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be really dedicated to my craft. It's been a bumpy ride throughout all of that, so a lot of changes. But funny enough, a lot of things haven't changed as well. So today we're going to look back at all of my art, or like little snippets of all of my art from 2006 to 2018. What we're gonna do is go back to the past, go back to 2006, try and envision that time, listening to Panic at the Disco. You've got that terrible mullet, choppy haircut. Paris Hilton was still wearing ridiculously low-rise pants. The mood is set and we can go dive into 2006, Zeke's Lunchbox. We're really diving into the archives here. I am gonna go into the 2006/2007 folder. I was in year 11 and 12. Prior to this, I have had an interest in art my whole life. I've done lots of like art classes and summer holidays and stuff. So that had been the only kind of history, I guess, background I had had when I was that age. I had an art class that I had a lot of fun in, and I really, you know, discovered my style a little bit more, or it just really started to pique my interest a lot more. So, oh God, I don't want to do this. Alright, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. Now, I almost feel like I have to preface this and say, if this is the stage that you're at now, I don't want you to feel like I'm making fun of you. This is purely from my own lived-in experience, and if you're also around the same age as I was here and you're better than this, well done for you. And I don't know, let's try not to judge. Oh gosh, this is so painful. Okay, all right. So 2006 and 7 were fun years for me. Prior to that, I had been pretty depressed as a teen, and I feel like at this age, I finally found my own. The state that I live in, or the territory I live in Australia, has a separate college that you go to, and it felt like year 11 and 12 were like fresh starts for me. So it felt like I was in a really happy place because it was a really creative school, and it really fostered that. And this is the result of a couple of my sketches. So, alrighty, so this guy. Here I had just discovered what Photoshop was. You can see I have a logo that says Zeke's Lunchbox on there. Yeah, it's funny that it was so like official then. So this was like a sketch that I did in my sketchbook. It was very inspired by like, I forget what the artist from Tool is called, but I was really into that band at the time, and I'll just pop up the artist that I'm talking about here. And I was really inspired by the artwork from those Tool albums, especially for the younger ones out there. When you used to have a CD, it would sometimes come with a really cool booklet, and I remember the Tool CD had like this amazing acetate booklet of all these like layered illustrations, and I was like, this is amazing. So that's what this kind of Anatomica man was kind of inspired by. And you can see here I was really experimenting with like mediums. It was like every medium, every color. All right, let's move on, let's move on. This I think I made. Those pixels though. This I made 2004, 2005. Just discovered what like hardcore emo music was. I forget what the website was, but there was like a website of like all of these cool like piercings and tattoos and like cool fashion stuff. I have no idea what the website was, but I would like go on that website. I just saw all these like cool, edgy, alternative chicks and I was like, I want to be one of those. And I don't know, this was just like a weird collage that I made. I made this in MS Paint. This is pre-Photoshop. Yeah, what can I see here? Those goggles, fashion goggles that were ace back then. I remember as a teenager my dad got me a film camera and I had like black and white film and I took all these cute photos of me and my friends. And this is a photo of a girl called Rosie. Hi Rosie, if you're watching, you're probably not. But yeah, just like a weird thing that I made. You know when you're a kid you just make fun things for the sake of it. Let's move on because this is painful. This illustration here. I was really obsessed with these pens. Some things don't change. This class really laid down some foundations for me. I feel like in this class I discovered what using multiple mediums on paper was like, and it was really a time for me to experiment. I still use the techniques that I discovered then to now. I think, yeah, this is partly sketch in a sketchbook with pen, with watercolor. I still do that, you know. The face is frightening. This is really emo. This is like fashion emo. And there's not much I can say about this other than I sketched this from a magazine. Let's move on. Yeah, this was just another doodle. I thought this was like really edgy, like this was really good for me at the time. Which I still think like the boobs are like kind of crazy, but I feel like the waist is actually pretty good. I don't know, I actually don't think that this piece is still alright. This one kind of holds up. Alright, let's move on because we got a lot of ground to cover. Let's just have a quick scroll through and we've done it. We don't have to look anymore. Let's go to 2008. I was 18. I mean, this like Frankenstein's monster Boris Karloff sketch is pretty good. Being 18 is a weird year because you've just finished school. You're like, I don't know what to do with my life. Where am I right now? This piece is pretty good. I wanted to do a whole series and this is gonna be a recurring theme because I start a series of stuff but it never like goes anywhere. I'll do like 2 things and then I'll give up on it. What I wanted to do was a series of these like black and white sketches slash watercolor things, and here's the other one. Here you can see I've photoshopped them together. Wanted to do this like totem pole kind of thing. I would like wheat paste. I don't know if I have any of these photos. I'd wheat paste this stuff and I wanted to do like a whole totem pole of heads. I should have kept going with it, but oh well, whatever. Here we're starting to evolve into, you can see I'm like using color pretty intensely because I love color. Some things never change. I wanted to do another whole series of these like oval shaped head girls. These were alright. This was good at the time. It's just that, yeah, why is it so saturated? And why is it so sketchy? But you know what? I actually think the proportions of the hands are fine. I was about to move to Sydney this year as well, so maybe that was like some weird celebration. I have no idea what was going on in my mind. I had no like specific goals when it came to my art. How could you know back then where things are going, you know? Oh yeah, I was like really obsessed with eye patches then. Just so you know, I was an aspiring fashion designer, or I was gonna do fashion in some way. That's what I did when I went to university. And you'll see a lot of fashion influences cherry-picked. What I would take away from this is I still paint green hair, so some things never change. I still really like color. I actually really like that tonal like face thing. I've been wanting to experiment with some more like multicolored skin beings, so I'll try and redo that again sometime in the future. And let's move on from 2008. A lot of the themes that I'm seeing with my older work is like I didn't make that much work, and when I did make a piece it had to be like a final piece. There was nothing before that. Like there was no studying, there was no sketching, there was like a couple of like loose doodles, if that. I just didn't want to make anything bad, so it prevented me from just making any anything. Yeah, that's what I've taken away from like recent years. It doesn't matter if it's a failure. 2009 to 2013, these are some weird years in my life. I was in a new city. I was just trying to figure out how to live on my own and what university was like, and just, yeah, trying to stay afloat with school. So 2009, this is a piece that I did for my sister. Oh man, that was pretty good at the time, but like, oh, why did I do that to the hair? And the eyes are so wrong. Like this kind of looks like my sister, but not really, you know? I just want you guys to take a mental note of like what this looks like now. I have like 8 artworks here, but if you look at what I'm doing now, there's just so much more work, like in a year. Yeah, I have so many regrets about like not just pushing through and just really experimenting a lot more. But keep in mind, around 2009 to 2013, I was doing like the fashion thing. Making art was really on the back burner for me. Here is a weird self-portrait of me. I don't know, I have nothing positive to say about any of these. These are just gross. I actually still quite like this piece, mostly because I really like the makeup and I obviously really like rainbows. I like the cat. Unicorn cat is still a thing that I do. Unicorn cats are still great. It's like I've still been making the same old things, but it's like on a technical level, it's a lot better. I don't know. The eyes are so dead as well. Like, what are you looking at? It's just a blank stare. All right, let's move on. 2010. This was probably my worst year ever when it came to art. Oh my gosh, look at this old webcam photo. This is a bad year because look at the lack of work I made. I have this like sketchbook folder where I did like a couple of sketches in a moleskin. Yeah, this would be as far as I go when it came to like doing sketches. There was just like a couple of sketches, nothing like amazing, you know? I had like a long-term project, again, this recurring theme of like, oh, maybe I'll like turn this little thing into like one big project thing. And it's like, why? This piece I did for a group show. I mean, I feel like this lizard is still really good. The execution isn't like amazing, but yeah, it's alright. Oh my gosh, here's a tattoo commission that I did. Looking back at this stuff, like I remember the feelings that I felt when I was making a lot of this work, and I remember making this piece and honestly having no idea what the hell I was doing, to be quite frank. Oh, that was probably posted somewhere on some Tumblr, lost on the internet. I've tried really hard to get a lot of stuff from the internet, like out of the internet, and now I'm like putting it back onto the internet. Why am I doing this? I guess now that I have work that I'm like proud of and I've accomplished a couple of things, I'm happy to put this out there. Hello. So upon reviewing this footage, going through everything, I realized that I blabber on for another 40 minutes or so. So I've decided I'm going to split this whole story looking back shenanigan into 3 parts, mostly because from this point onwards some stuff happens to me in my life and then I have a kind of another phase. Nothing major, it's just that there are signifiers in there, and I don't want to rush a lot of the stories and I want to be able to chat about them a lot more, and there's just too much to talk about in one video. So if you're interested in that, please let me know and comment below, and make sure you subscribe and like so you will be notified next week of when I do that. In the meantime, you can catch me on Instagram and Facebook at Zeke's Lunchbox. You can also go over to my shop as well to help support my art and this channel. That's it. I'll talk to you guys next week. Greedo says hi, by the way. Oh wait, that's a little bit of a risky spot.